at the expense of others. Sometimes we can be doing some things to show self-love and, like a previous video, consequences. It can come at the expense of others. And my name is Brittany Simone. And this video is just something that came to me while I was meditating. Sometimes people can practice self-love, which is great, but you really have to ask yourself, are you really practicing the love for yourself? Or is it because you don't trust people and it's a defense mechanism? Now, this is just one aspect of it, and I'll cover another aspect of it in another video. But you may have a lot of people who may not trust people, and they may practice self-love when it really is selfishness. And it's a defense mechanism. Because I was thinking about the concept of, I'm going to go love myself. So I'm going to get drunk. I'm going to go drink. And we all know the types of drinkers. And you could say, I'm just going to go have a drink to cool off and calm down. And there is a point where you could do that and practice self-love and not hurt or cause anyone else around you hurt. But you can. Like, I know for me, for example, because I'll use myself. Once upon a time when I would drink, and I would get wasted, it wasn't really because I wanted to. Like, drinking was okay, it's cool, but it's not really something I wanted to do. But it was a defense mechanism, because deep down inside, I was afraid of really being me. And what did I do? I blamed it on the liquor. I would act a fool, be silly, doing all of this courageous and daredevil stuff. But the real question was, could I do that sober? Some of it I could, but some of it I couldn't, because I was really afraid to be the authentic me. And how does that come at the expense of others? They didn't get a chance to really see me. They got the Brittany who eventually they were tired of because she's full of I say one thing, but I do another. I make all these promises and all of these promises and all these promises, but I really don't do or uphold that promise. And so now people are looking at me like, okay, she drinking. We're about to get the fun Brittany, but we're not getting the authentic Brittany. And people don't like being around people who are always drunk. Now it comes at the expense of others because I'm robbing you of the authentic of loving, or the ability to authentically love me. But I'm also robbing you of the ability to get to know who you really are, because I'm trying to put on the front. So you may not be really showing me the real you, because you're like, you drunk, you're an alcoholic, which I wasn't like that. But it's still all the difference, all the same. You may be that person who gets drunk and you're an angry drunk, a violent drunk. One of the celebrities have said something that was funny, but it's true. At the expense of others, because he wanted to mask or self-medicate or a defense mechanism of drinking, which is what most people use it for. I don't got a problem with drinking. I got a problem with people, and shout out to Larry Reed, fucking with me when I'm drinking. And now you see violent, belligerent behavior, which comes at the expense of others. Because now when you pour a drink, they're like, oh, snap. You drinking. Let's make sure we know where the exits are. That person over there got a camera. Let's make sure that we are paying attention. And some people don't even want to be your handlers. They're going to record you so that people see your erratic, belligerent behavior. And it may be funny for the moment, but that video is out there now. What you've done is out there now. That mugshot may be out there now. And it may be funny, but after a while, people are going to say, I don't want to be around you. So at the expense of the comfort of people loving and trusting you now, you're making everyone uncomfortable. You're making everyone angry or upset because you love yourself so much that you're drinking, self-medicating, and you're putting on your defense mechanism because, truth be told, something somewhere has hurt you so much, you have to numb that situation. Which a lot of times people practice the kind of self-love that's actually numbing, so that if they come across that situation again, they really don't feel it. They don't experience it. They block it out because we all have trauma. We all have pain. We all have hurt. But a lot of times that self-love that we have can come off really as being selfish. Like, I'm going to go do this because I love myself so much. But what did you just take away from someone else who's around you because you were really being selfish? I'm not saying don't practice self-love because we all need that. But I really do believe that there is a level of self-love that can enter into being selfish. And now at the expense of others, their comfortability, their love, and their trust, and even their dependability on you, you have now just betrayed. Someone may be expecting you to give them something, but because now you want to be selfish, you're going to go out and buy something for yourself. What are you going to do? You're going to defend it by saying, it's what I want, it's what I want. Yeah, but at the expense of others, you didn't keep your word. You violated that trust you just created with someone. So a lot of times we must be mindful of these things because a lot of things have two different sides, the positive side and the negative side. And then it can go even more and be extremely positive to where you do everything for everyone else, that you don't love yourself. And it can be extremely negative to where you do everything for yourself and you're telling everybody, well, I'm just loving me. There's a balance and there's equity to a lot of things that we have, including self-love. And I know for me, because I had to love myself, I had to just allow Brittany to be Brittany and stop doing these things to self-medicate or use as a defense mechanism. And just saying, oh, I'm just loving myself because I just love. My drink of choice was Patron. That was my drink of choice. And I could say sometimes even now it is. But it's not to the extreme. Seagram's 102 proof was my thing. That's what I would drink. That's what I would turn to. Didn't really care for the taste. Didn't really care for it at the time. But I would just drink it because it gave me an excuse to be a butthole. To be dumb, which it wasn't really what I wanted to do, but it was because I was afraid of being me, because someone somewhere didn't like me as a kid. And now as an adult, I have to separate myself from that feeling and that emotion of someone hurting me as a kid by saying something or doing something, with Brittany just being Brittany, and it happens. But that's why when you are a child, you do childish things. But now that I'm an adult, I have to put away that childish conversation because now I have the wisdom and the discernment and the understanding to know that that person might have just spoke out of ignorance. Ignorance is just a lack of knowledge. And what was the lack of knowledge? They knew not what they did, or they knew not what they were doing. They were just being them. We all have a level of ignorance. That's another conversation. But at the end of the day, sometimes that self-love can come as selfishness, and it comes at the expense of others. And then you find yourself being one of those bitter people that's saying, I don't need nobody. That's only because somewhere you've done something at the expense of others, making it seem like you were doing something that was really helping them when you were really helping yourself. But the great thing about life, we all get a do-over. And you could dust yourself off and do it again. Not try, because there is no try. It's either do or you don't. You could do it again. You can create something new. Because we all have that ability. Because we can control the narrative. But is your self-love self-loving to where you're taking care of yourself so that you can love more people and rejuvenate? Or is your self-love because you're being selfish and somewhere you were expecting someone to do something that they didn't, and now you feel like, I'm gonna just do it myself. But once again, this is Brittany Simone. It's something to think about. Hasta luego.